Hey everyone, welcome to Quick Hits. My name is Sean Peers, President and CEO of Dental Peers, Canada's preeminent group purchasing organization for dentists in private practice, helping you save money on supplies, services, all the business things to make things operate more effectively in your practice, and also the Dental CEO Maker, helping to guide you to operate your business from the mindset of what a CEO does. And in that sort of spirit, we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to step out of the traditional box of talking about some of those dental business strategies you need to employ and maybe talk about why you know you need to do it, but you're not actually doing it. So I've got a really exciting guest that's probably going to be new to a lot of people in the world of dentistry, a fantastic speaker and educator by the name of Katie Faloon-Drew. She comes from let's just face it, when you're talking about why you're not doing some of those things you know you need to be doing, we understand. There's that old principle that old habits die hard. So what are we doing today? We're bringing on a habit change expert, someone who will attack those old habits for you and give you strategies to get you past some of those roadblocks. And she knows these strategies because she's been coaching in that realm for a number of years. She has clients that she coaches both from a business and a personal standpoint to help them work past some of the sticky points that stop them from doing things that they know they need to do and get them doing it. And she understands this because she has an impressive academic background herself, including a master's in health psychology. So she studied the neuroscience of the brain. She knows why the brain is saying, maybe I don't want to do that, even though I know I should. So without further delay, I would like to introduce my dental friends to Katie Faloon-Drew. Katie, how are you today?
Thank you so much. I'm great. I'm great. Great intro. I need to use that for my next keynote.
Absolutely. If you're going on the road and you just need that sort of pump
That's
up
right.
artist while the music's playing and you're doing your walk
That's
on
great.
stage,
You could be
just let
my
me know.
traveling intro.
There you go. And if I can't be there, we'll record something.
That's
It's
great.
all good. Katie, we've had the opportunity to chat a little bit. I did see you speak at a dental event recently, and I think you have a bit of an understanding that dentists are, and their teams, they're like a lot of people. They understand that there's things they need to do to operate their practice a bit more effectively and more efficiently, but making those changes, even when they know they're beneficial,
Mhm.
doesn't come easy for them.
Yeah.
What's holding them back?
Well, I mean, a lot of things, right? But I would say in this industry, I coach a lot of executives, right? A lot of really busy high achievers, and I would say the number one thing holding people back is the overwhelm, right? Is the overwhelm of the amount that we have to change because you're trying to just make it through the day and get the things done and see the patients, and it's just the list is huge. And so often, you'll have someone in, maybe they'll give you some advice, you've done the business, I don't know, consulting and you are literally just trying to survive the day. So you can have the best of intentions, but when you don't have the time, when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling overwhelmed, what falls off? Well, it's what often we think is the nice to do and not the need to do, the core kind of tactics that we have to, show up, see the patient, pay the bills, pay the staff. And so often I'm seeing it's just this whole sense of overwhelm that's just shutting people down. They're just shutting down and they're just doing nothing.
And that is sort of like, is that personal overwhelm? Is it maybe overwhelm also from team members that maybe are feeling overwhelmed? Is it a bit of both? How does that sort of play together?
Well, I think it's both, and it really depends on what we're talking about here, right? So if you're the leader and you know you've got to make some changes, be it in your culture, be it in your hiring practices, be it in your business, it's what is in your like what is overwhelming to you. But absolutely, there is a lot at play, right? When you're working with other people, what's the vibe? Like what are they willing to change? What's the culture look like? So I think it depends. I mean, we could talk about the actual specific person. I mean, that's the easiest thing to do. Who knows what they need to do, whether it's for their own wellness, for their business, and just can't seem to shift. I mean, ultimately, everyone has their own goals, right? I mean, you might be steering the ship, but everybody's got their own goals within that.
And and I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to tackle on this, and I think you probably had to tackle it yourself, right? I mean, you came from years working in the government,
Mm-hmm.
switched
Mm-hmm.
over to entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
probably some habits that you had to kind of assess.
Yes.
Are these roadblocks for me? What's holding me back from being even more effective at what I can do and bring to the table, right?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. I mean, ultimately what blocks us is, stress, overwhelm, fear, right? The fear too. I mean, if you're talking about me leaving the government, is this going to actually work? But really, at the end of the day, what's blocking us is our brain. I mean, I think that's what we can probably get to here, right? So let's give a scenario. You've got, I don't know, like you could maybe you come up with a scenario. What do you see with your listeners where they know they should do this, but they don't do it? Do you have a specific example?
Well, there's the age old, I know I need to do this, but I'm not a leader. I don't know how to do
Ah,
this. I can't be an effective leader. What do I do?
okay.
It's that roadblock of self-doubt, self-belief.
Yes. Okay. I love this one because really it allows us to dive right into mindset, which is obviously an awesome place to be as a coach because this is what we do 95% of the time is we talk about people's mindset. So this is a perfect example. We have, in order to change, we have to actually change our habits. Well, the brain is designed to keep us safe and comfortable. It actually doesn't like to change and it really doesn't like to do the things that are uncomfortable. So if you have self-identified as a great dentist or a good practitioner, but not a great leader, you basically told your brain that I can't do this. I'm not good at this. The brain is not gonna do the hard thing for you. The brain only releases dopamine, like that motivation, when it actually sees that there's a reward coming, when there's some belief there. And that's why sometimes people think mindset, working on our mindset, oh, that's woo-woo. It's absolutely not woo-woo, Sean. It's neuroscience, right? Because in order for the brain to trust that there's going to get some reward and give you the dopamine, right? Give you the dopamine to take action, there has to be a level of belief. And so when we look at the belief that I am not a good leader, you're basically just training your brain to believe the fact that you're not a good leader. And then the brain will give you all the excuses. Oh no, I got to do this. Oh, I got to focus on this. It will keep you away from doing the maybe what you would consider the hard thing, the mindset shift, taking, having that hard conversation, putting some energy in terms of, the way you're hiring or your team, because the brain's just doing its job. It's just trying to keep you safe.
And I got to say, I kind of had an internal chuckle as you were going through that because one of the changes that I had to make or habits that I had to break was just what you said. Ah, this is all woo-woo. This stuff doesn't matter. I was technical. I was clinical. Like this was the way it was, and I kind of had to come around to thinking, well, maybe there might be a little bit more to this than I'm giving it credit. So when we understand that we're still going to make some mistakes, right? Like what are some of the mistakes we will make on the path that will perhaps lead us to think, oh, I was right, and just go back to what we knew and what we were comfortable with before.
I love that you say that, Sean. And I'm a scientist too, right? I have two science degrees. I mean, my dad's a physician, my mom's a nurse. I grew up in the very much in the science world. And so I think this is really why I'm passionate about, I have this, Master's of Health Psychology. I've got background in neuroscience. One of my passions is bringing these concepts, like the importance of your mindset, what you're telling yourself, what your beliefs are, melding it with the science to actually talk to your audience, my audience, and convince them that this is not at all, this is neuroscience. So what are the struggles? Ultimately, we don't get what we want, we get who we are, right? We don't get what we want, we get what our brain is wired for. And so if we continue to decide and tell our brain that I am not a good leader, or this is stressful, or this is like woo woo, or this is just self-protection, we will continue to get, you do keep doing what you always did, you always get what you always got. So to try to bring this to an actual tangible, because I know this is still pretty big, and people are like, what are you talking about, Katie? Let's talk about that person. Let's just talk about that person who's like, I'm just not a good leader. Okay, you're telling yourself this. Why? Out of fear, because it's just something new. Your brain is just, this maybe is not some the way you've been trained. This isn't how you've shown up in the past. And in order to protect yourself, it's easier to say, I'm not a good leader, than take steps to improve as a leader, especially when you're busy. So, what's the first step you can take? Stop telling yourself you're not a good leader. Understand that's just your brain just trying to protect you. It doesn't want to get uncomfortable. It doesn't want to have that hard conversation. It doesn't want to take time away from the stuff that's easier for you to start building a skill that you know up here in your brain, you know it's going to help in the long run. So I would say the first step first is be careful what you're saying because your brain is listening. And there is something that, and because you have a lot of science people that follow you, I feel like I could go down this road, but there's something in our brain called the reticular activating system. It's literally the filter in your brain. We can only notice 90, or we can only notice like 1% of our environment, right? It's filtering out 99%. It's like when you buy that car, when you look for that car, I really want the white Jeep Wrangler, and all of a sudden all you can see on the street is a white Jeep Wrangler. That's your reticular activating system. It is trained based on your belief about yourself, based on the way you were raised, based on, what you value. All it's like the paradigm. It's all the conditioning and the programming. So there's this person who has decided I'm not a good leader. It's just not what I'm good at. Your reticular activating system, your brain's listening. It's like, I'm not. And then through something called confirmation bias, it's just going to go prove you right. It's just going to keep you stuck in that rut. It's actually going to go out in the world and try to prove that belief right. You'll listen, maybe you'll have a different conversation with someone. You'll overhear a conversation from someone else. It is so incredible when you actually take a step back and realize that you have the power to reprogram your brain, and that is not woo-woo. And it's through this reticular activating system. So number one, first step is stop telling yourself you're not a good leader. Because guess what? If you tell yourself that, your brain's listening and it will just go prove you right. So you have to be real clear on what it is you want to change and actually start opening the aperture up a little bit and say, okay, maybe I am not yet, but I'm excited to become one. And then what is the next right step? Like how do I approach this in a way that doesn't feel so overwhelming? And we can talk about that. Like how do I first change the mindset? If you continue to believe that, good luck. You're not actually ever going to become a good leader. Like that's step one. You've got to start changing the story first.
I love that, and I love that, you're very comfortable bringing out your inner science geek because
Yes.
that's going to appeal to a lot of
All right,
people
I
in
figured.
respect to this. And as I was listening to you, it actually struck me as well. I was recently at the Ontario Dental Association meeting, and one of my friends was speaking there, Dr. Uchi Odiatu. He's a dentist that does a lot of speaking on health and wellness. Phenomenally engaging and funny and entertaining speaker. And one of the things he was even talking about was that idea of doing those hard things, getting out of your comfort zone, not just allowing to yourself to relax into what is easy, is good for your health, good for your longevity. It challenges the body in ways that makes us healthier.
A
Like,
hundred
why
percent.
wouldn't we want to do that?
Yeah. Yeah, you're training your brain. It's funny. I was just in my group coaching yesterday. I was actually talking about this concept that, doubt is a dopamine destroyer. Which is true, right? And so in order to actually get that dopamine, get that get up and go chemical that motivates you to change, your brain actually needs, like I said, it needs to see some kind of reward. Well, the problem is we're sitting around waiting to feel motivated, right? We're sitting around waiting to feel motivated to work out. We're sitting around waiting to feel motivated to change our habits, maybe in the office, the way we communicate with our staff. We can't sit around and wait to feel motivated because the brain actually starts it needs some evidence before it's going to trust you. It's like, would you trust your best friend who is never on time to go pick up your kid? No, you wouldn't, because they have not given you evidence that you can trust them. If you are not taking small actions, even when it's uncomfortable, so that your brain can start trusting that, oh, you're not giving it the evidence, right? You're not giving it the belief that you can change. So, from the habit change perspective, I mean, leadership's a little bit of a harder example, but let's even just think about, like, I don't know, working out or exercise, right? You don't want to, your brain wants to stay comfortable. You know you should, but you don't have time. You give yourself all the excuses, right? I always say to clients, you have to take the tiniest next step that passes the giggle test so that you will show up. Your brain will start trusting you. It will see a direct benefit. Oh, that felt good. I'm proud of myself. I have energy. Then and only then can it start to kickstart this cycle of, oh, maybe this is possible for me. Maybe I am someone who can prioritize exercise because I was able to do that 5 minute walk. You can translate that concept into anything, into building confidence, into growing the leadership muscle, because all you need to do is start looking at first of all, what's the vision? Who do I want to become, right? Believe that it's possible. And then what's the next step to convince your brain and start to give it evidence? that maybe you can take so it's too overwhelming to say I'm not a good leader. Oh, I'm going to become a good leader. Well, okay. What is the next right step? What is one thing that you can do that you feel that you can do to start convincing yourself, that maybe I am moving in this direction? Once you start convincing your brain, like, oh, interesting. I just set up a staff meeting. It was uncomfortable. I asked people for feedback. That was uncomfortable. That kind of worked. I was able to do that. Maybe I am better than I thought. Okay, what's the next step? So it's really breaking it down and understanding that your brain doesn't want to change. So you got to kind of dangle that carrot. Like, what could be one next thing that you will show up and do, even if it's hard? So that you can start to convince your brain that this is possible, build belief, build dopamine, and keep going. But it's got to be tiny. It's got to be tiny, tiny steps. When we feel overwhelmed, we shut down, we just don't do anything.
There is a lot of great stuff to unpack and explore further with respect to what you were talking about, Katie. And if people wanted to reach out to you to unpack and explore it
Yeah.
further, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Well, my website is healthyconfidentyou.com. You can, reach me on LinkedIn, Katie Faloon-Drew. Faloon is one L, two O's. And yeah, happy to, I teach this through talks, workshops, and coaching. So this is my jam. I actually teach people how to then start taking the next step, how to identify it and take those steps.
Well, I think this is something from a strategic standpoint are going to need to explore further in a future conversation. But this is Quick Hits. This is designed to be fast and give hopefully some useful information, but I don't want to take up people's time for too much of the day. So, Katie, thanks very much for being here with us today. Really
Thanks for having me.
appreciate this. Yeah, it was
Awesome.
great. And Quick Hits will be back. I will be back. Who knows who the guest will be? We're definitely going to bring Katie back, but the next one could be that other surprise guest. I always like to make it so that you don't know who's coming, but someone will be coming your way via Quick Hits. Look for it. I will put Katie's contact information in the comments section so that if you want to learn more about how Katie might make you that better leader or make other aspects of your life change to get you past your roadblocks, you can reach out. So, Katie, thanks a lot. This is really
Thanks for
great
having
stuff.
me. Thanks so
All
much, Sean.
right. See everyone next time right here on Quick Hits.